My name is Efe Omorogbe, CEO Now Muzik. I'm primarily into talent management, run a label, offer record label support services to clients that are with us but are independent in terms of their recording status. We also run Enomco. It's an event production and promotions outfit, and we do a few other things, around the business of entertainment with a primary focus on music. Really, I came into this business probably at the most difficult time. Difficult in the sense that I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to work in the music industry. First and foremost, as a foreground figure. I started as a performer, songwriter, producer, rapper. I was a dancer. I did some TV series, with a bunch of guys and stuff. So all of that was pre my university days. 91, 92, I came in. I got into Unilab, and by my second year, I registered Now Muzik as a label, and I suddenly decided that no more foreground activity for me. So I would write, I would still produce music, but I never was comfortable performing, on stage. So I started working with other talents, started providing, technical backup, production backup, for other artists, and it was always going to be difficult. I saw myself through school, so I had to work, part time. I taught English and literature. I prepared students for English and literature exams, at the JAM or GC level and all of that, while I was in school. So I had to squeeze all of that alongside my passion for music. Now, when I got out of school, my first major stint was at Hip Hop World magazine. It was a small outfit, just a bunch of guys, but we were very driven, we were very determined. The obstacles were huge, but somehow we just kept pushing out edition after edition of the magazine, and that entire process brought me a little closer to the active music industry. But I was involved at that point as a writer, as an editor of Nigeria's top music magazine. But after a while, I knew that's not the position I wanted to play. I didn't want to report, the stars. I didn't want to report the industry. I wanted to be in the industry directly. So by 1999, 2000, I dusted up the whole Now Muzik stuff all over again. We assembled a group of guys called Mega Mob Crew. We were writers, producers, the whole management stuff. We started out. I signed a 16-year-old rapper called Slick, who accidentally was, my kid brother. And our stuff would just go out there and put out the hardest hip hop records, we could possibly, knock out. And of course, people were listening to hip hop. I mean, not our kind of hip hop. Mainstream radio was obsessed with, so not obsessed with, mainstream was suffused with a lot of dancehall stuff, aka music from the likes of Baba Fario, Daddy Shoki. And it was the alternative. There were like Yuba, people like Lagbaja were beginning to peak at that time and all of that. So the last thing anybody was checking out for was rap music, was hip hop music. So we pushed on. Then as time wore on, we expanded a little bit, and I started working with a singer called Funke. I met her, someone introduced her to me. She had this this version of Celine Dion's If That's What It Takes. it was a Yoruba, interpretation of the song, and it was, the first listen, I felt like, this was a fabulous song, and we put it out. Probably got maybe 20, maybe 25 copies of the CD, from the get-go, and it just took off like magic. It just took off. We shot, a video with a VHS camcorder. Shegun, I forgot this guy's name. Was a very popular, video director at that time. He did this video, and it was amazing how people just reacted. And I got like first-hand experience of working with talent from ground level, from ground zero to a point where there's serious mainstream interest. The agency guys are calling for shows, for tours and all of that. So that kind of really emboldened us, because we had spent years making music in the background. Nobody, we just couldn't push it out. When I was in Unilag, I remember recording Slick's first, EP. We called it Slick Like That. I had to leave school every now and then. I'd go away from Unilag to Ray Power, get to Yaba, get on a motorway, drop off, call out bus stop, and walk all the way down to Ray Power, which is like 2 or 3 kilometers away from the junction, and wait outside for hours, hoping that an unknown personality would walk out, maybe to come out and buy like maybe a drink, maybe a stick of cigarette, and I could just like step up to him and say, boss man, I have this song, I have this artist, please just listen to my stuff and all of that. And I must have gone there like 3, 4, 5 different occasions and not see anybody. Sometimes there was a particular day, I got there just as I hit the road from the junction. It started raining. This was 94, 93, 94. There were many buildings on that road. You couldn't even find shade. Eventually, I got a look in. Our music got played on air once or twice, and then I was hooking up with Chibi Chat back in the day. So the first attempt was horrifyingly difficult. But my stint at hip hop world a few years later, when I got out of school, helped me with some penetration. I became friends with people like Khalid Bey, who was producing New Life Big then. I met with Eddie Lawani, who became our consultant first and foremost, and then he started hooking us up with a lot of people and make a record and try to break it and give me advice. Call a few friends and say, I think this guy has something interesting. You should pay attention and listen. So it was against all odds. Just before we put out Oruka and Face Me, that album on Chain. So we met. I was working on a project called Genius, the Salvatore wife for tribute. I was writing and producing, the tribute album. I got support from people like Paul Play, Dairo featuring on the album. A lot of artists, we must have had like 15, 16 artists on one compilation album. We were young, we were very broke. I'm not sure we had 1,000 naira kept anyway. But we were attacking this multi-million naira project. We wanted to record a tribute album. We had this big idea of an event called Touch of Genius, where we would like celebrate, take an icon, rework his music, reggae version, hip hop infusions, everything, and just have this massive presentation ceremony where those guys would sit down and for like 2-3 hours, contemporaries and younger artists would reinterpret his music. So it was more like celebrating an icon with him present in attendance, not as opposed to waiting for someone to pass on and everybody gets together and say, oh, Goldie was such a great person, Justice was such, So we had that idea. How we managed to even come up with that. Even today, I would be scared to take on that kind of project today. But back in the day, we were like, okay, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna make it happen. And people came out and they supported. Orlando Julius was on that album. OJB Jeffrey was on that album. Paul Playder was on that album, as I said earlier. Funke was on the album, Chicha Africa was on that album, Jimmy Jad, Kwame, a lot of people were on that album. So the project, you know, had problems at the end of the day. The project didn't fly, we wanted it to. But every time we failed, every time we stumbled, we came back with the realization of what is possible if you just push hard enough. We were just these guys who would like attack a 200,000 naira project, fail at it, and come back with a 400,000 naira project, and fail at it, and come back with a 1 million naira project. There was never a point that we felt like, okay, maybe we were being a little bit too ambitious. Let's downsize. Let's maybe if we're to attack something a little smaller, you know, maybe we'll get the kind of results we desire. No, it was always like, okay, this thing, what did we do wrong? Okay, let's come back. How are we coming back? Now let's start with that 1 billion naira project. So we were very stubborn, we were very resilient, and we had a lot of help from people who believed in us. But why I said it was the most difficult time to get into the game was that that was about the time most of the major labels moved out of Nigeria. They had issues with, you know, piracy, you know, pricing. Music as a business wasn't lucrative enough. Someone like myself, growing up in Warri, Saple, coming to Lagos, would have loved, you know, an opportunity to do my maybe youth service, whenever, or do internship at maybe CBS or Sony Music. I would have loved to work at maybe Irene Music or Premier Music, get behind the scene, work with all the big producers, even as a studio hand, just helping out with stuff, just to watch, just to see how the internal, you know, dynamics, you know, came together to make an album, to make a start, so you know, I would have loved to learn A&R direction from a major player. But when we got in, a lot of all the structures had been wiped out. So it was more or less like learning on the job, you know, do it yourself. I mean, how many record labels were there? Even a few years down the road, the most dominant record label was Kenny's Music, for example. How many people could only Kenny's Music absorb in terms of staff, in terms of training, you know? So we came in and we had to, like, it was trial and error. I did a lot of reading. I've always studied music from a very broad perspective. From, you know, I've studied music from the production perspective. I've studied music as, you know, I'm a bit of a music historian. I've studied music from the business angle. I've read voraciously everything, every book, every literature, every magazine. I was this kid who was growing up at 5 years old, at 6, who would pick up an album, a Ray Parker Jr. album. There was this guy at 8 who would pick up a Victor Wifo album, pick up a Kusukote album, and we bothered about the credits. I wanted to find out who was writing what, who was producing what. There were names I was familiar with, who were like, you know, who were recurring decimals, and, you know, Johnny Roger, Laura Kings, you know, and I didn't know them, and I couldn't put a face, you know, to the name, but I knew that, okay, this guy offered, you know, production support on this person's album, and also featured on this person's album, and also played the guitar on this album, and also was a sound engineer on that album. So I was pretty exposed to the system of, you know, putting music together and pushing it out. But all of that was a lot of theory. You know, so, but when we got into the game, that was what helped us. The basic understanding that that for you to have one star, one two-faced leader, for example, there has to be a complete system of, you know, songwriters, production support, A&R people, media, you know, people, consultants at all level, from financing to, you know, to legal and the entire works. Now, was the business structured properly enough for us to jump right into that? No. Was the business lucrative enough to attract the right quality of manpower? Obviously not. Anybody who had the right measure of education and exposure, anybody who had the prerequisite talent, talents to build an artist, a musician brand. Was more interested in working at an event agency, or an event production company. So at the end of the day, how much were you going to make from talent management services? How much were you going to make from why support musicians? Why support artists when you can? Why service artists when you can service corporate Nigeria? Why would I want to sit down and say I want to do solidarity for a living as a business, as opposed to I want to offer my creativity and my talent to support brand Porsche, who is in a better position to pay me the kind of money that I would need to meet my needs. So it was very unattractive, and you had to be like this certified madman. My other sister was, the time she would do night vigils. She would pray. She would send me, anointing oils. As far as concerned, how could you go to school? How could you school in Unilag and Bangkok? Come home. If Lagos is, if it's still, please. We could hook you up. The oil companies, come back home. Okay, first of all, define it. What do you do for a living? What do you do in Lagos? And it was difficult to explain what I did, because I did a bit of songwriting, of songs nobody heard. I did a bit of production of songs, wearing hits. I managed and worked with a lot of artists that were like national icons and figures. I wrote stuff that that was published here and there, but they didn't meet my needs, didn't pay my bills, and it was difficult. If I didn't have an education, if I were one of those guitar carrying, dreadlock wearing guys, maybe. But she was like, and it went on and on and on and on. The first time my sister needed money and I sent her 10,000 naira, I couldn't resist the temptation to just like poke some fun at her and say, the 10K I sent from that garbage stuff, that senseless stuff that I do, the writing that you always complain about, that you don't know how I'm going to make a living from writing. The one I sent to you was money that was paid to me for an article that I wrote for a magazine. So we have this kind of pressure. People didn't take it seriously. The few people who did, the people who understood that you had a passion and they just loved you too much, or they respected you too much to try too hard to push you away from your path. So they sounded like they were supportive, but somewhere in their hearts they were hoping that you wake up one day and you realize that you're wasting your life, and you would decide to do something reasonable. So that was where I started from, and to actually buttress the difficulty. I started making progress in this business when I made two major decisions, and those decisions were a direct result of a realization that I came to, and that reason was that I had to stop doing passion and start doing business. I love music too much. My entire life I couldn't conceive myself doing anything else, even if and it was funny because of all the talents I had. Music management, artist support stuff was the least paying. The stuff I could do. So it was funny because a friend of mine hooked me up with a job. At the time I was earning like 8,000–10,000 naira a month, working somewhere that maybe 3 or 4 months, my salaries would not be paid. Hooked me up with a 200,000 naira a month job. I was bullied into the interview session. I went through it, they told me to resume, and I got on. And I couldn't resume. I couldn't just turn up for work. And I was married then, and I was very broke. And my wife looked at me, and I'm sure she felt sorry for herself, like, I really messed up this time, But she didn't tell me that. She said, if your heart tells you that's the right thing to do, I got you. So I called a friend and I thanked him for the opportunity, but I said I couldn't show up. I didn't stay on the streets for this long, you know, to wind up on some 9 to 5 stuff. That I'm just going to follow my heart and just get this Now Muzik thing running. So I started making progress and I decided that enough of passion, I would start doing business. So I called the guys around me and I said, you know what, first thing, we have to place high premium on our time. I absolutely don't have time to waste. My crew, we had guys who knew about how the radio show should sound, how a presenter, you know, has not been on point, how a music video, you know. And we get together, we talk about stuff all day. And we seem to know how everything ought to run. But we weren't creating any value. So I started thinking, we're gradually becoming low lives. A bunch of guys who would sit down and analyze everything and do nothing. So first thing was that, dudes, no analysis. If I'm around, I don't want nobody talking about nothing but constructive strategy sessions on projects and things we must do. I want to have these sessions. I want everybody to move away, do what they need to do, come back to the table and say, these are my deliverables. This is, you know, exactly what I've been able to do over the last 1 week, over the last 2 days. If you're producing, go out there and produce. If you're writing, but I want to do rehearsal sessions. I want to do, you know, rehearsals for singing, for choreography. I want to do, you know, album art design. I want to do media strategy. I don't want to talk about nobody doing nothing. So it is serious business. It's not glamorous. There's nothing glamorous about, you know, about this. A lot of what you see, 5 minute video, 4 minute video, probably is 1 month of planning, of scripting, back and forth meetings and treatments, you know, getting the people, getting the cast, getting the crew. Sometimes it's a 2-day shoot to get a 4 minute video, grueling shoot. Sometimes we travel long hours. I've traveled from Nigeria, you know, from Atlanta to SA, you know, from SA, you know, got straight to the video location, walked for 18 straight hours, you know, got back to the hotel, freshen up 2 hours from the airport, straight to Namibia, back to SA, back to ATL, down to Chicago, shoot a video, do a recording. Sometimes I lose track completely of where I am, what I'm doing. I've been, 90% of the countries I've been to, all I've seen, the airport, the hotel, backstage. No monuments, no time to feel the culture, meet the people, see the landscape, in, out. You know, sometimes I don't even know when I cross state lines, as in when we cross from country to country, we're not even aware because the bags are packed, we're racing against time, the schedule is tight. So entertainment, music business, whether you're at the level of a talent manager, the level of an event production consultant, whether you come in at the level of maybe a record label CEO or a ER person, it's hard work, very hard work. If you focus on the job, chances are that you get it right. If you focus on the other stuff, if you wrap up an event and instead of going to get some rest and packing and checking, you know, when you're next to whatever, if you spend too much time at the after party, you spend too much time with the girls, you spend too much time around the booze, chances are that you just might miss your flight. And missing a flight might be defaulting on a 10 million naira gig at your next venue. If you'll be lucky if the promoters say, give us a refund. Sometimes it gets a lot worse. Sometimes the pressing charges, punitive damages. Sometimes nobody's even bugging about money. Sometimes your failure to produce the artist resulted in some disorderly conduct and some mayhem and people getting, you know, people getting injured. Somebody just starts screaming, somebody throws a chair, somebody throws a bottle, and everything is totally out of control. So what we do is high pressure, it's hard work. You need a clear head, you need to be focused, you need to be disciplined, you need to be determined, and you need to be prayerful. At the moment, the label and management arm, we are working with the artists I just listed. We on the Two-Face project, for example, there's an album dropping soon. It's called Rewind Select and Update. It's probably the first time I'll say it's in public. It's a reissue, not a reissue. It's a reinterpretation of some of his big songs from the initial releases. We're also putting out the Way and Beyond, the deluxe edition, pretty soon. We're in the process of working on the Campus Connector. That's given us low sleepless nights already. We'll be launching the Two-Face Richard Foundation with the Promote Peace project sometime in September. It is massive, it's time consuming because we have a million voices for peace rally. Two-Face is deploying his voice, his star power to make a massive call to promote peace in Nigeria. We are hoping to deploy social media, hoping to get minimum 1 million signatures for that cause, and it's supposed to launch a series of activities over the next 18 months that would see Two-Face and a lot of celebrity friends get involved in a project, a community project at school level, at church and mosque level, at all kinds of levels, dealing with young people and working on activities that would help bridge the gap, the divide, and foster better understanding between Nigerians, particularly the young people, because they are the most vulnerable. More than 80% of the time there's conflict anywhere. The guys who actually carry out, who serve the violence are usually young people. The guys who create the confusion are older people. The guys who go to war are the young people, and the people who suffer are the women and the children. So we're going to be working with him to try to attack the minds, try to penetrate the minds of these young people, so we can work towards blurring the lines between Christian, Muslim, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Edo, Efik. Try emphasize the ties that bind us as opposed to the things that separate us. So he's fully committed to that project for the rest for the next 2 years. Personally, until social media week, my social media activity has been very, very, very low key. Almost dead. I used to do Facebook maybe like 5 minutes in a month. I blame my schedule, but at the end of the day, truth is, maybe I'm just a little old-fashioned. I let a few things in the course of the week. I've tweeted 2 times since yesterday. I used to tweet an average of maybe once in 6 months. So I've learned, I've personally benefited from this experience to a point where I'm heading back and I'm restructuring, my whole whatever now. And that's for me because if I'm not talking business, I'm intensely private. I don't like putting my comments in public spaces. I don't like putting my nose in other people's business, But as a business, we relied heavily on social media. It's been a massive revolution, and we are just coming to terms with it. We're still learning, how to make the most of it. But it's here. It's not going anywhere soon. It's the future. So we've benefited, tremendously from it, but I think we need to still do a lot to take advantage of what's on offer. And it's not something to say. Everybody who's in business today knows the value of social media. So the only option you have is to just increase your level of activity, increase your knowledge of of the use of social media, and basically engage your targets more profitably.